Here's every book I've read in the last 3 months. The Ritual by Nevill. It was my first book of the year, and we follow 4 friends who decided to reunite for a hiking trip in Sweden. And 2 of these friends were unprepared. One of them got blisters, second one got his knee injured, if I'm right. And because of these reasons, they decided to take a shortcut through an unfamiliar forest. What could possibly go wrong? I think everything. But here's the thing. They have no idea that there's something in the woods with them. Watching, maybe hunting, I don't know. And this book is divided into 2 parts. The first part was perfect, solid 10 out of 10. The second part felt a little too slow to me, but overall I still gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was tense, it was brutal, it was violent, and genuinely scary at times. The discovery of the abandoned house and church, it was really spooky. Probably one of my favorite moments of this book. What really surprised me though was the friendship dynamic. These 4, they used to be best friends, but now one of these friends has almost nothing in common with the other 3, and the tension between them is so well done. I never expected a horror novel to nail relationship drama like that. I think it was great, and the setting was great. The endless, suffocating Swedish forest is described so thoroughly. I really enjoyed it. So if you are into folk horror, survival stories, I think you'll like it. Beach Read by Emily Henry. It was my first romance book ever, and I really enjoyed it. I always had this idea that I wouldn't enjoy this genre as much as others, but wow, I was so wrong about it. The main character, January, is a writer, and she's going through a lot. The life she thought was perfect has completely fallen apart, and now she's grieving the death of her family member, dealing with a recent breakup. And on top of all of that, her family kept a secret from her. And now she's stuck. She needs to write another book or she'll run out of money. But she has no idea what to write about because she's always written about happy ever afters. But now she starts to believe that they don't exist after all. So she moves to the beach house to finish her book. And who's her next door neighbor? Her college rival. This book is so beautiful. Emily Henry's writing is phenomenal. Witty, smart, funny, so engaging. And I just loved everything about the way she writes. The banter between characters was so good. I think it's one of the first books where I've been giggling while reading, and I think it says a lot. So if you want to pick up a new genre, that's your sign. Go do it. Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I'm not going to say much about this one, just because I went almost blind into it, and I think that's the best way to experience it. All I knew was the concept of an infinite house, and this story unfolds through the journal entries of a man named Piranesi, who lives in this strange house full of endless labyrinths of halls and vestibules, filled with countless statues. It was so whimsical, so unlike anything I expected. The twists really surprised me. I think that's all you need to know about it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Perfume by Rebecca Yarros. We follow Violet Serengale, and she spends all her life training to become a scribe, but her mother, who happens to be the general of Kingdom of Navarre, decided to send her to the death sentence. to the war college, to become a dragon rider. And while all other people have been training to become a dragon rider all their life, Violet had around 6 months. And by the way, dragon riders are the elite of Navarre, and it's very deadly. And to become a dragon rider, you need to survive the college itself. But if you do that, the dragons can literally incinerate you just because they thought you are weak. And from the start, there are people who want to kill Violet, and it's not just one person. I think this book is immaculate, in my opinion. I loved the characters, I loved the world, the friendships, the dragons, especially the dragons, the romance. I just really enjoyed everything about this book. And I really liked the world building. Dragons, they are very intelligent creatures with their own personalities, and they choose their rider for a reason. The bond between dragon and rider is very deep. If the dragon dies, so is the rider. If the rider dies, the dragon can live with that. The main character, Violet, she is really phenomenal. She's definitely not the strongest there, but she's definitely one of the smartest. And people always tell her that she can do something, and then she proves otherwise. There's also a fantastic enemies to lovers trope. I'm not going to name her love interest, just because you'll have 2 options to choose from. And I thought I wouldn't enjoy it because I saw a lot of people say that their relationship is toxic. I didn't find it toxic in the first book. Second book is another story. I gave it 5 stars, and I hope you'll enjoy it as much as I did. The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. It was weird, but in a good way. Gregor, our main character, he's a traveling salesman and the only source of income for his family. One morning he wakes up and finds himself transformed into a giant beetle. And this story never really explains how and why this happened. It just starts with these bizarre facts and then shows the consequences of it, like how Gregor is trying to navigate his new existence and his family reaction to it. So don't go in expecting answers. And I gave it 4 stars. It was bizarre, it was weird, it was unsettling, but really moving, which I didn't really expect it to be. This was my first introduction to Kafka, and I definitely want to read more of his works. So if you want to start reading Kafka and you don't know where to start, I think this book is perfect, just because it's short and it really shows his style, because it's weird. It's seriously weird and strange, but I think you'll get used to it. Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This book is much more darker and emotionally complex than the first one. Violet is dealing with the new truth she knows, and she can't even share it with anybody else. She just learned that everything she knew about her world was a lie. And we also meet a new vice commandant who seems like he has a personal vendetta against Violet. His name is Varish, and it seems like his existence is dedicated to break Violet, make her feel weak and powerless. He also really wants her to betray the people she cares about. This book is more emotional because second-year cadets have to go through an interrogation training, and it was seriously emotional to read. Okay, let's talk about her love interest. she doesn't trust him anymore, but she still loves him. So she kind of doesn't know what to do about it. In the first book, he promised her to tell her everything, and now he's like, just ask me questions and I will answer them. But how would she know what to ask? Like, that's not what he promised to her. And some characters had a redemption arc in this one, which I'm really happy about. We also learned so much more about the world in this one, how the words work, the politics of the rebellion, and how life is like outside the Basgais. And I've seen a lot of criticism about this book because people say that it's slow or repetitive. And yeah, the first part felt a little slow, but I still enjoyed it. The climactic battle and the ending, it was such a chaos, pure chaos. And just the final twist, I had to pick up the third book immediately. Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. It was so emotionally devastating in the best way possible. The pacing, perfect. Rebecca Yarros finally figured out how to balance action with the world building in this one. We also learned so much more about Navarre and the Isles, and the lore expands massively. We also learn a lot about gods, which I think adds a whole new layer to the story. And the ending was so brutal. I don't know what to do with myself now. I want the next book so bad. I have so many questions now. If you loved First Wind, but Iron Flame felt way too slow for you, please don't let it stop you from picking up the third book. I think it's so worth it, and Rebecca Yarros seriously leveled up in this one. Carrie by Stephen King. We meet Carrie White. It's not a single POV, and she's a shy, constantly bullied high school student. And she's raised by a mother who is a religious fanatic, and she considers everything to be a sin, like having breasts is a sin, having periods is a sin, walking with a guy is a sin, and she does terrible things to her daughter. And when Carrie gets her first period, she's freaking out. She has no idea what's happening because her mother never told her about periods. And other girls, they don't help her, they just laugh at her, they keep bullying her. And Carrie, she also has telekinetic powers. Like, especially when she's scared and angry, things start to happen. What I really found interesting about this book is that Stephen King is like, this character, and this character have less than 2 hours to live. I'm like, wow, you give us spoilers now, Mr. King. But it works, it seriously works. It just adds this tension that makes this story so gripping. And I've been wanting to read Stephen King's first book for ages. And I'm so happy I finally did it. Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz. The premise really hooked me. San Francisco is recovering from the horrors of war, and 4 robots wake up in an abandoned kitchen. Their owner has fled abroad. Robots, they don't have the same rights as people do in this world, because there are a lot of people who are robophobic, and robots can't even have their own business, and some robots don't even have their own life. And to avoid being sold, they decided to open a restaurant, and they do it. People love their food, they get a lot of orders. But then something shifts and their reviews get filled with fake one-star reviews, like the food is terrible, it's a ghost kitchen. Now they need to figure out who's behind it, who does it before they get shut down. They really need to make money to become free. And this story blends mystery with cozy found family story. And robots, they are adorable. They have their own distinct personalities. And just watching them learning how to make noodles, how to navigate in this world, unpleasant world, it was interesting. Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I've been wanting to read this book for such a long time. I've seen a lot of people on Reddit praising it, and I just picked it up without even reading the annotation. I just went in, and I loved it. The premise is simple. We have Adam and Amelia, who won a trip to a remote chapel during the winter, and it already sounds suspicious, but they go anyway in hopes of saving their marriage. I think that's really all you need to know because it's a thriller and I don't want to give you any spoilers. But the writing was great, it was so creepy, like it's such a page turner, and I've been suspecting both of them. Like Adam is the bad guy. No, Amelia is the bad guy. Back to Adam. And I was pretty much wrong about everything. The twists were so surprising to me. The setting is fantastic. A remote, isolated, creepy house during the winter. While I was reading it, I felt the chill, I felt the isolation, just felt that I was with the characters in there. Just great read, seriously. I gave it 4.5 stars. Animal Farm by George Orwell. It's terrifying how much it resembles our current world, and it pretty much shows that people are not evolving at all. It's about animals rising up against their cruel farmer and taking over the farm, dreaming of a new life where every animal is free and equal. And at first they work for common good, but then things start to change. Pigs start to claim more power just because they are the smartest ones. Previously established rules get rewritten, and other animals are being lied to that the rules have always been the same. And it's so scary how animals got convinced to take their own oppression. This book is short, but the message is so powerful, even nowadays. And I think Animal Farm is a must-read for everyone, as well as 1984 by George Orwell, The Coin by Yasmin Zaher. I've been wanting to read this book for some time because I saw that Jack Edwards Book Club was reading it and I bought it, but then for some reason I didn't read it. Well, I read it now and it just wasn't for me. Our main character is a Palestinian woman living in New York, working as an English teacher. And personally, it just didn't click for me. I think that the premise had potential, but I really struggled with the main character. I think, honestly, she was so incredibly annoying. Like, she was so obsessed with dirt and clothes, and she used men around her for her own benefit. I didn't really like it. Her priorities felt really out of sync, and I disagree with the most of her decisions, like when she was dating one man just because she didn't want to be alone, but she didn't really love him, and then she started dating another man. I don't know, I kept waiting for something to click, for the characters to grow on me, but it just never quite got there. I gave it 3 stars. It was an interesting read. I never really thought about DNF in it. I just didn't really understand it. So don't let me stop you from picking up this book. Perfume, The Story of a Murderer by Patrick Suskind. This book is set in 18th century France, where Paris is described as one of the most bad-smelling cities in the world. Into this world of filth and stench is born our main character, Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, a boy with an extraordinary gift. He has a phenomenal sense of smell. You can even call him genius. He can detect smells that no one else can, and even from impossibly far away. And he becomes obsessed with collecting and capturing different scents that it leads him to becoming a murderer, as the title of the book says. What really surprised me the most is how immersive and atmospheric the writing is. The prose is incredibly rich, and Suskind somehow makes you feel scents on the page, whether it's the rotting fish on the market or the delicate smell of flowers. And the ending, it was so dark and wild. And despite everything, this book is so beautiful, and I'd even call it an unforgettable masterpiece. 4.5 stars. That's pretty much all, and I hope to see you in my next videos. Happy reading!